And when you're ready, you could gently open your eyes. What are you noticing?
First of all, when I took a sip, when I was smelling the aroma of the tea, I think the first reaction of mine is that I am really smelling the tea and being able to feel the humidity, the warmth brought by the tea. It's more like a physical feeling of of this. And somehow, because I close my eyes, and I feel like it is very different by closing my eyes and kind of perceptually getting away from the external environment makes me feel more present and spending more kind of spending more focus on what I am doing right now, which is to sensing the aroma of the tea. And somehow I found my acuity or my olfactory acuity, smelling acuity is enhancing because of the fact that I close my eyes so I can focus more on the tea itself. And then I took a sip. I tasted the tea. I've tasted this tea for multiple times. So the taste wise, it's very familiar and it's very warm. And somehow I feel like my heart rate drops because of this slowed reaction or the much slowed down process. And I sense that the tea itself is a fermented tea. So the taste wise, it's not too bitter. Instead, it's very warm and um, very neutral taste. So to me, I really love that because it's not bitter and it's actually pretty warm, a little bit sweet. So I
Hmm.
like it. And then I swallowed it. Very interestingly, I kind of in my mind there is a very vivid visualization of this tea. Um, I kind of have a cartoon animation in my mind. Is that a tea kind of formed like a huge pot, a huge vesicle, and then kind of coming down um, through the esophagus and through the diaphragm and get into my stomach. And I can kind of see my heart right beside the esophagus. And the tea gets down to the stomach, which is pretty interesting. And then at first it's kind of hot. The tea is kind of hot when it first reached the stomach, and then seconds later I can feel that the tea is distributing across the stomach, and and then because the heat is distributing, the temperature drops, and it become a very comfortable temperature to me, and it feels like I don't know, it just feels so comfortable, so cozy, so secure. I have a very high sense of security when I close my eyes and just try to feel the tea. And then somehow this distributed heat across my stomach kind of feel like it kind of transcends upwards and to the diaphragm and through the diaphragm and kind of make my heart warm. And because of this, it feels like it's like a pair of hands. The heat is like a pair of hands, warm hands, trying to hold my heart. And because of this, I feel really safe. And because I think also I close my eyes, I feel more secure and present, and really feel like my heart is being nurtured by this cup of tea, the warmth, and everything seems to be slowed down, which is something I really like. Yeah. And yeah, and then somehow, I don't know, I have some, because of this very comfortable situation, I started to think about like the tea itself. It feels like I imagine myself in a rainy weather, and it is very comfortable. And then I am inside, outside is raining, so I'm like protected, and like really, my I think my anxiety from daily work is is definitely attenuated because after my heart start to kind of slow down and I feel like my heart is being held by this temperature, by this heat, very comfortable heat, not like too hot. um I think it's like this protectedness is something that I found may be the source of me feeling secure. um, and because I think I took multiple sips of the tea, and this repeated processes kind of reinforce this entire comfort and this entire process. So it makes me slow down a lot, which has never happened if I'm working or if I don't really pay attention to the fact that I'm trying to enjoy a cup of tea. Um, so this is like, oh, I'm really present with this cup of tea. A very unique experience for me. Yeah, so I think this is this is my experience with like previously in the past minutes.
Sure. I'm curious if you could just notice your mind and your body at this present moment. How would you describe your mind and your body at this present moment?
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised that my mind is imagining a very specific situation, which is, I think, I feel like I'm back home because right now I'm living by myself, and this home is not my permanent home. It's a home for me to stay in Canada.
Mm.
So I come from Shanghai in China, and I live in the suburban area in Shanghai. In my household, I have my grandma, my mom, my dad, and a dog. So Shanghai is, and during fall time, autumn time, summertime, it's a very rainy city. All the time it rain a little bit. It's very humid. And I remember during the weekend, my mom and I will sit in the garden, um, in the backyard, and we will kind of look at the garden, like the trees, the vegetables my grandma growed, and then we will brew ourselves a good cup of tea and to enjoy. So having the opportunity to really taste, experience this cup of tea reminded me of my time with my family. And um, since I think the heat brought by the tea has already gave me a very high physical sense of security, I would say, and then make my heart feel like held by hand. And then thinking of the experience with my mom in the past years before the pandemic, I think this pair of hand is my mom's hand. So it's really interesting. Yeah,
Wow.
and then rainy weather because I really like rainy weather, and being able to really have a sip of tea, um, or imagining myself in rainy weather make me feel also comfortable because when I every time I work in any type of the settings, I do listen to white noise. If I'm loud to listen to music or anything, I will put on white noise such as rainy sound to make myself feel safe. So yeah, I think it's a good memory record, and the very memorable experiences kind of brought up in my mind. And together with this cup of tea, I found very fascinating this entire experience.
Hmm. Okay. Again, thank you for being so open. And um, I feel very honored that I could visualize with you what it may be like to be held in your heart by the hands of your mother and feeling safe, feeling present, and feeling, secure. So even your heart rate goes down. It's quite fascinating that you're able to notice your own heart rate as well. Um, okay. And if our viewers are interested in understanding why we're doing what we're doing, you're welcome to watch the uh, next video